Welcome to another episode of the Truth Podcast, where we rebuild lives by shaping people's mindsets to achieve life goals. Listen, we want to thank you for tuning in today to this amazing episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Today, our guest is Kyran Ashford of Ashford Films here in Rochester, New York. I want to thank you, Kyran, for being my guest today.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about what we're about to get into. Mm-hmm. Right before we get into it, can you just give us a little information about yourself, where you from, what you do?
Man, so Kyran Ashford, born and raised here in Rochester, New York, all 36 years, raised on the east side. The best side. So
I wouldn't have told nobody that, but go ahead.
But I like to let people know and let you know on a consistent basis.
First of all, what I want to do is I want to apologize for you having to go through that experience.
I'm so sorry,
it must have
brother.
been rough.
It was rough. There were some rough times, but and then I moved to the west side. My life did get better.
Okay.
It got better.
All right.
So yeah, born and raised here in Rochester, New York. Went to Wilson High School, graduated from there, did a little bit of college, but just worked the rest of the way. And now I'm here, married, 9 years, 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and keeping the Most High first.
I think I know who did your wedding. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, he was an all right brother with me. Yeah, he good with me.
Yeah, I think I know who did your wedding. All right. So, ironically, a few years ago, you started your, and I'll say ironic, and then we'll kind of get into why I said that. You started your film production company. But before we get into that, I want to talk, maybe you can put some B-roll up. So this is my...
That was good right there. Yeah. If you didn't know.
This is the person that shoots my podcast. A few years ago, you had the pleasure of being on the Steve Harvey Show.
Yeah, man.
Can you kind of just talk about how that all happened?
Oh, man. Long story short, I was working at Southwest Airlines, and I was working there for about 9 years. And towards the end of my 9 years, in 2017, I'm dancing out on the tarmac. You know me being a goofball that I am. A guy recorded me. He put me on a social media platform, took off. The next day, hit 1 million views. News channels, radio stations, different heavy platforms reaching out for interviews. My life just changed all the way up to the point of November of that same year. The production company of Steve Harvey Show reached out on Facebook Messenger. I'm thinking it's a spam message. I'm like, nah, this ain't real.
Yeah, right.
I called you what should I do? Let the Lord use you, brother. So
call back. You ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, for real. So then flew out on a Monday, stayed the night on Tuesday, shot the show on Wednesday, came home Thursday. They aired it Friday. They wiped it out that whole week. But as far as Steve Harvey, he is exactly who he is on TV, like the same dude. So that was a dope experience.
All right. You probably all saw the B-roll while he was talking.
Oh, right.
Okay. So we'll probably do. Hold on, got a little piece of lunch in my mouth. We'll probably do a part 2 and get into talking about fatherhood.
Yeah.
Because we do have some similar things we kind of went through as young fathers.
Yeah.
And also being married and having a mixed family.
Yep.
So that's what we'll do. We'll do another part on that.
Cool.
What I want to know is, okay, how long ago did you start Ashford Film? Do you remember?
Yep. I started in 2015, then I officially made it a business in 2017.
Okay. So how did you start Ashford Films with just an iPhone?
That's a great question, how you put that like that, right? I always knew that I wanted to get into storytelling. I always wanted to create and get into filmmaking. At that point in my life, I was just stuck on just worried about how other people were going to view my stories and what I could create. So it took me a while to get started. But once I got started, I just had to come to the realization that, you know what, instead of worried about, I need this $10,000 camera, I need this lens, I need this, I looked at my phone, I'm like, I'm going to use what I got. I'm going to use what I got, and I'm going to do what I need to do so I can be happy about it and be content with it. And the very first video I did business-wise was with my barbershop. I was like, I sat up there. I ain't even need my hair cut. My hair already cut. So I'm sitting up there for 2 hours trying to build the courage to ask my barber, can can I record like a small commercial? I'm trying to, do something. He like, absolutely. How much? I'm like, $25. He looking at the hair he cutting like, well, this costs $25. That, I don't lose nothing. Did it. And it changed my life because for the fact that I did it, like it happened. And when he gave me the money, that just let me know like, yo, this can happen again and again. And I did it with my phone. Mm-hmm. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep using what I have to get to where I need to go.
So let me ask you this question. When you started with your iPhone, did you have any obstacles or people objecting to you like filming? And I'm only asking this. I know the answer to this.
Yeah, right.
There's one particular story you probably don't remember telling me about a guy who booked you and when you showed up.
It still feel like that happened yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen, Coach Roddy Roberts, let me tell you, right? So at this point in my career, I'm still doing bookings with my iPhone and I'm getting some good feedback from, the public, right? And I had a real big opportunity to film like a conference and I had a meeting with this guy and we sat there at the coffee shop and he's loving everything I'm presenting to him. So we get to the part where he's getting ready to make his 50% non-refundable deposit, right? he got the, it's right there. It's right there. A nice little knot, right? So as I'm reaching for the money, he's like, man, listen, we're good on the meeting. You locked in. He's like, just out of curiosity, what do you film with? It was at that moment. Yeah. I got stuck and I was like, okay, I'm either going to just be bold and tell him what I use and just dive into how I create the quality that he is booking me for, or I'm going to stumble and figure something out. I was like, well, I'll shoot with the iPhone 6 Plus, but the way I do it is, and I just immediately dove into why the quality looks like the way it does. Man, all that man heard was phone. Everything else was womp, womp, womp. And this was right before I got the money. He took the money back. He said, I can't do that. I can't have you at the conference doing this. And he demonstrated what I would be doing this. And I'm looking at him like, you just, what? He got up and he left. And I remember sitting up there at the coffee shop for another 30 minutes, just feeling defeated, but at the same time trying to decide if I'm going to stay stuck feeling like that or I'm going to shake it off and keep it going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that was it. That was it. I had a big decision to make.
So I remember we talked about that and I said that, you could have attacked that a little bit differently.
Yep.
And do you remember what I said that you could have done?
You was like, what you could have done was, if I didn't feel comfortable with telling them that I work with the iPhone, because in general, you know how people may respond to a phone. You could have been like, well, some of the products that I've also used that I can use is the new Sony or the new Canon and different things, and just kind of dive into what they can produce and sold them on that because those things are still accessible and I know how to use them.
Yeah.
Me being at the place that I'm at that time mentally, I'm just stuck on the success I've been having with my phone. So that's all I know. So it wasn't until, and I'm glad you broke that down to me because that just helped me to understand how to go about difference in multiple different ways versus just staying in one lane. But yeah, when you broke that down to me, a light bulb went off like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that? I'm like, you know what? Okay, I didn't know it then, but I know it now. You know what I mean?
Because it's okay that you have limited resources in the sense of at that time all you had was an iPhone. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is, and it's just something that, I like to let people know there's always a way to get something done. Yeah. And you could have actually wrote in his contract the cost for the rental of a particular type of camera.
Yep.
So you could have showed up with a camera that he didn't realize he paid for the day.
Yep.
And you could have just add that into your fee.
Yep.
And but for me, one of the most important things that I noticed is that you didn't wait to get started until you had all of these expensive cameras.
Yeah.
You started with what you had. You started where you were at that time. And so many people, I believe, don't get started in certain areas of their life because they're waiting for everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
A guy that I have done some mentoring with named Derek Harper, he talks about how done is better than perfect. In other words, done today is better than perfect next week because next week will never be perfect enough. Like you'll find an excuse to not start. Mm-hmm. So Derek is always talking about how done today is better than perfect next week. Mm-hmm. because you know this for a fact. You can always give yourself a reason not to get started with something.
Yep.
And talk yourself
absolutely right out of it. And that's what I was doing for a good year and some change before I even started doing it creatively, like, you know, doing it with a passion in 2015. I kept talking myself out of it because I did not fully believe that I was capable of doing this. And later on in life, I think about how I was thinking and feeling at that time, and I will ask myself, where did that come from? Who told you to feel that way about you? What have you been through in your life to make you feel the way you feel about yourself, and stop yourself from doing something that makes you happy? You enjoy telling stories. You enjoy being creative. That's a gift from God. Like, maximize that.
So what did you discover about yourself where you said, okay, this is why I feel this way, and this is where this started in my life?
This is why you said this is
why I feel this way, and this is when this particular feeling entered into my life. And I'm carrying this as an adult. Yeah, I got all these confidence, because like if somebody met you, they would never think that you were not a confident person.
Right. Yeah, well said. So, man, growing up, and I know you said we'll get into the fatherhood piece, like a whole separate thing, but that ties into why, you know, where I'm at right now, because, you know, growing up, for me not knowing my father, at that time, I felt like that was the reason why I didn't have the confidence that I needed to be able to flourish in the things that I wanted to do. So I don't know how, and I don't have a relationship with the Most High with like that at that time. So I don't know where to get my confidence from. I don't know how to feel the way I'm supposed to feel about myself to accomplish things. Okay. So, so throughout me building my career and throughout me, you know, learning how to filmmake, man, forgive me because I can't really pinpoint why I was feeling the way I did about myself that really held me up from, you know, exploring this career. But all I know is now, for me personally, once I built a relationship with the Most High and learned and understood how to have confidence in Him, and He's designed me to be great. He made me in His image and likeness. So once I found confidence in that, I'm able to, like you said, you can look at me now and be like, man, you dealt with these issues? Like, since when? Like, how? You know what I mean? Because I finally learned how to embrace myself and love myself and you know, care for myself in order to, you know, do the things I want to do.
Well, you know, one thing that I've learned, and we'll just kind of stay there for a second, is that when people are dealing with confidence issues, a lot of times these particular issues are manifestations of unresolved conflict in the mind that has been introduced through trauma. Yeah. So at some point in your life, there was some trauma that took place in your life, and that kind of affected your confidence in certain areas. Yeah. Because obviously, if somebody said, Kyran, dance, and you got in the dance battle, you was like, I'm about to kill this person.
Right. But once upon a time, that was not there.
Okay. So again, how I'm kind of pushing the envelope with you.
No, please do, because I'm starting to really understand it now and starting to see it now, because for the fact that I'm here now, there was a point in time that I was not there. And where that came from was, again, the lack of the relationship with my father, of not knowing him for 9 years, a lot of traumatic events that I will go through in my household, you know, with my mother and my stepfather, primarily my mother and my brother and my sister. A lot of that played into, you know, who I am, or, you know, who I was growing up and what I carried into my adulthood, you know, not being confident in advocating for myself, or, you know, even expressing myself creatively, because I was so worried about how my mom will react to me if I did anything, to the point I took that into my adult life.
So you kind of just closed down?
I just closed down. As bad as I wanted to express myself in any way, shape, or form, I would close down, because I felt like even if it come down to advocating for myself, we could be having a Jordan LeBron debate, and I will be at a place of low self-worth to the point where I won't even allow myself to express my opinion on why I feel like LeBron is great, because I feel like I might offend you.
Well, don't do that. You are offending me. You're offending me. Just your example is offensive. Don't do that.
Well, one thing you told me is being offended is a choice. So I'm sorry you chose to be offended by the
I'm choosing to be offended because you're telling lies up in here. So,
well, don't do that.
Go ahead. I'm just messing with you.
But no, you good. But I hope I answer that question more clearly because I'm at a place of freedom where I can talk about what I've recovered from. I can speak on, what I've been through because it all shaped and formed me into the man that I am now, the husband, the father that I am now, the entrepreneur that I am now, because I've learned how to overcome those things and not carry it with me.
What's crazy is, like I said, so you kind of put a facade on a false confidence then.
I confused it with fear.
Okay. All right.
And you helped me realize that because I remember telling you, like, to this day with my mom, I have so much respect for her to the point where I would not speak up for myself. And you said, it just set me free again. You said you helped me to understand that I was getting respect mixed with fear. And I never knew the difference. I didn't even realize there was a clear separation for the both of them. Mm-hmm. I can still express myself to you and have respect for what you're trying to get to me or whatever the conversation is about, whatever we're dealing with. But fear is, even with you asking for my input, I'm so afraid of the outcome that hasn't even got here yet, to the point where it's like, nah, you got it. You all right. So here I am doing that with my mom, even if I do right or wrong. And my mom, first of all, my mother is a wonderful woman. She birthed me. She the one, she the GOAT, right? But these things, we've been through so much where I could look back at what my life was like growing up with my mom and understand, why it kind of shaped and molded me to who I am now. So again, in regards to the fear piece, whether I was right or wrong at anything I did, I would buckle down and I would not fight back. Not necessarily fight back like tussle, but I would not defend myself, even if I knew I was right. So here I am now in my 20s and 30s. Now I have a daughter that I have to advocate for myself so I could be an example for her or even advocate for her, rather me and, her mom maybe having issues or whatever. And I will still have a hard time doing it because I'm still going back to my childhood.
So I don't remember saying that to you, but it sounded like something I would say.
Yeah.
And, obviously I say a whole lot of things and I don't deem them as necessarily important.
Yeah.
But in the moment for the person, it may be. So that's why it probably sticks with you a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I do understand the difference between I'll use the term healthy fear, which is reverential fear.
Yeah.
And then also timidity, where you just afraid, like you said, of the outcome. Now, nothing has happened yet, but you can't even articulate why you're afraid.
Yeah.
But you're just afraid.
Yeah.
I could imagine that going into to adulthood.
Yeah.
That was just so in high school, you were not this confident person?
What? Not at all.
Would people that went to school with you think that you were not confident?
When people I went to school with see me now, they'll be blown away because it's like everything that you're doing now and how you're flourishing in your business, you're taking care of your wife and your kids, like how you're just so vibrant now. I'm blown away because it's like, nobody's seen any of this in high school.
Are you serious?
So where did this come from? Like there were days where I'll be goofy like around a small circle that I had, but like overall I wasn't like this around anybody. You know what I mean? So junior year I go to try out for basketball. I'm like, okay, I'm good at basketball. Maybe this will help me express myself more. Maybe this will help me be noticed and be accepted because now I'm dealing with all these different things too. Like I want to be accepted. I want to be validated. I want to be known. I felt like I need to get in front of the right people to feel like I'm somebody. Yeah. I was hungry to be somebody. I was starving to be somebody. So, all right, let me try out for basketball. Freshman year got cut. Junior year sophomore year didn't play. Junior and senior played, but sat the bench. Right. So I'm just happy to be on a team because remember I'm so. Yeah, I want to play, but I'm glad I'm on a team because it's like, okay, y'all can see me in a jersey. At least y'all can see me. At least y'all can see me warm up. I'm out here. I know I'm not getting in, so I'm going crazy to warm up. I'm dunking and everything. Windmill. I'm going crazy. And then game started like, go and sit down. Or if we blowing the team out, then I'll get in. But So that's why I was doing those things, because I wanted to be noticed. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be in the paper. I wanted to be talked about and all these different
Which
things.
comes from being a child.
Yeah.
Not feeling noticed.
Yep.
Not feeling accepted.
Yep.
But we go back to it. Maybe it was you didn't feel noticed and accepted by your father.
So when starting with my mother and my stepfather. We're going to
come back to fatherhood. We just trying to get to this.
Because it all ties in. Correct. Starting with my mother and my stepfather. My mother, again, she did everything she was supposed to do to the best of her ability to provide and support us. There were also times where she was so militant that it was hard to see all the good that she did do. Mm-hmm. So, and because a lot of what I remember was the militant side of her, it buckled me down, because I never wanted to make her mad or feel like I was disrespecting her. My stepfather, because of what they were going through, he would be very, very quiet. Very, very quiet. Mm-hmm. And there were times where he wanted to express his love to us, but he didn't even feel super comfortable to do so. So now I'm not getting what I need from the father figure that I see every day.
Yeah.
I'm not getting what I need from him. So who can I turn to? Like, I don't talk to my uncles like that all the time. I don't talk to, I got a few friends, but I don't have nobody that's an elder that I can see and talk to consistently. Mm-hmm. Not saying that they're not in my life, but just consistent enough to help me be the man that I need to be.
And you can't express yourself to say, this is what I need.
Absolutely. Yeah. How do I even, what is that at that point? You know what I mean? Like, because again, I don't even know how to express myself.
Yeah.
I don't have the confidence to speak up for myself, let alone let you know what I need. What?
Yeah.
So now here I am in my adult life. I get married 2015.
Don't let Ashley watch this when you was struggling.
Yeah, I gotta close her ears on this.
Edit that too, man.
May 20th, 2015. Okay. Jesus. Lord.
You still doing it?
Yeah, I'll make sure. Okay. We just celebrated 9 years, so yeah. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. My heart was in the right posture.
Once he get to talking, sometimes dates fly out his mind, and then they come back. Once he realized
just doing his own thing,
he could get done data. Then he just
I don't want no problems with you. So here I am, a husband now, with all these issues that should have been dealt with, but I don't know how to deal with them. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking marriage is going to cure me of it. And now she is now dealing with I don't even want to say the aftermath of it. She's just dealing with it as if it was never even touched or never even bothered. So that's causing issues in my marriage. Here I am, I'm having children. And one thing I can say, when I became a father, as far as my confidence, like, as soon as my daughter was born, I said, everything that what I felt needed to be done for me, I'm going to do for her. And I did it, from the point of making sure she was fed every day, clothed every day, taking the daycare, and just providing and being present. That was on smash. You know what I mean? And I always still allow myself room to grow and had a support cast behind me. So yeah, again, going back to what you said, I carried that over to my adulthood. And I thank God that I'm a lot better with dealing with it now. I'm very more outspoken now, and I know how to have that balance between getting aggressive if I need to in a necessary situation, or just simply letting this is how I feel. Mm-hmm. And take it or leave it.
You if you wasn't going to learn at the negotiating table in business, you was going to learn it either way.
Either way.
Because you was going to get taken advantage of.
Either way.
And you'd be almost working for free if you didn't know how to speak up for yourself.
Yep. And there were times where I felt like that, where I'm glad you said that, because I can count. Man, I would lose count on trying to figure out or trying to see how many times where I'll be at the negotiating a business deal, and that confidence issue will creep in. And now I'm not charging what I feel I'm worth. So, okay, you come to me about a project and it costs $500. Now I'm already shook at the $500, because even to me, I'm not confident enough to understand that that's not a whole lot of money, but it sounds like a lot. So, okay, I'll charge $500, and before you even say anything, but I mean, if you can't do it, I can do it for about $150, and that's fine.
Well, let's go, brother.
You ain't have to say a word.
Wow.
Matter of fact, you're expecting to pay more.
So when you really got into your high ticket items, you must have really been struggling.
Ooh, you can't tell me nothing now. And where that comes from now, and that's not from an arrogant standpoint, but this is I'm so free now, and I understand how to put in the work to be worth my work, to the point where I can walk in any room and tell them. I just had an opportunity just the other day from the county. They called me up, sent me an email. Hey, we're looking for this 5-minute video with a few interviews. How much? $3,000, 50% deposit. Okay, cool, done. Where do we send it? Now, the only part with that is that was fast. I should have.
I think I should have said 5.
I'm sorry, I missed a 0 when I put 3.
Yeah. But you live and learn. See, what happens is you have to work from the place of your comfort.
Yes.
Because if you would have asked for 5, you would have reverted back to. But if you could, so as you continue to grow, your ticket items will grow, and you'll be able to ask for things confidently.
Yep.
Because it probably was a $8,000 project.
Yep.
Because that's what they probably got quoted from somebody else.
Yep.
But I've had that happen. You're going to have to, because if you ask for more than you're comfortable asking, it's going to be obvious.
Yeah.
But, you have to realize your worth. Once you realize your worth, you have no problem asking. And all that stuff you talking about, the work, and I don't even think about that part. I think about the fact, this is what I'm worth.
Yes.
So somebody called me to do a speaking engagement. Here's my writer.
Yeah.
And, if you don't want me to come speak, then fine.
And I appreciate being a guest right now, but even for my knowledge, was there ever a point where you had to start thinking like that, or that confidence was already there? So when you got into business, it was like a no-brainer for you, where it's like, oh, here you go. Take it or leave it. What you doing? What we doing?
So I have no problem asking for what I'm worth. Now, there were times that I didn't know that I should have been asking for more. Mm-hmm. So as I kind of grew and I was doing research, and then I would have other people say, oh, no, I remember this lady named Marianne. I don't want to say her last name in case she don't want to. I'll say it anyway. Marianne Amon. Mm-hmm. She's a big time conference speaker. She gets $5,000 to $10,000 to speak. And me and my wife went to her house. We had dinner with them. And she was like, you're a phenomenal speaker. And you should be asking for way more. And I was like,